Ned? Ned, are you there? I did, Ned. It's Rhoda, the roaming reporter. I am in the palace in Babylon, and I am waiting to get an opportunity to talk to Daniel. You see, Ned, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, told his steward to select some men from the Jews to be trained for his service. So he chose Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, as well as some others. Ned, one of the reasons they were chosen is because they were all so strong and good-looking. Another reason is that they were well-trained and very smart. I don't think so, Ned. Anyway, Ned, Daniel is coming here now. Let me see if I can interview him. Daniel!
May I help you?
Well, I hope so. I'm Rhoda, the roaming reporter, and I'm with United Baptist Church's news. I've noticed that you and your friends are not eating all of the king's food and drink that he has provided. It looks pretty good to me. I was wondering why you aren't eating it.
My friends and I have requested to not eat the king's food because of our devotion to God.
Devotion to God?
Yes, you see, as God's chosen people, God has given us some guidelines about the kinds of food we should eat. That's right, kids, guidelines. Because we want to please God, we have requested not to eat the king's food and drink. I just finished talking with the steward, and he has granted our request to eat only vegetables. And drink water. Rhoda, if you will excuse me, I need to go and tell the others.
Well, certainly, Daniel. You go right ahead. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Ned. Hi, Ned. It's me, Rhoda. I'm back in the palace, and Daniel is talking with the king. While I'm waiting, I'm going to read this news memo I found on the floor. Oh. It says that King Nebuchadnezzar really likes Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It says that he finds them 10 times better than any of his magicians, astronomers, astrologers, enchanters, sorcerers. I am sure that when all of those men find out about this, they're not going to like Daniel and his friends. Well, wait, here comes Daniel. Daniel, what happened in there?
Hi, Rhoda. Well, King Nebuchadnezzar has been having dreams. He would not tell anyone what he was dreaming. He wanted someone to tell him what his dream was, and not just what his dream meant. If no one could tell him, he was going to have us all killed.
And you were smart enough to figure out what his dream was and what it meant?
No.
You weren't? Does that mean you're all going to die?
No, we're not going to die. You see, Rhoda, it wasn't me who did all this. It was God. God is the one who showed me what the king's dream was and told me what the dream meant.
So, what did the king say?
Well, I told him the same thing I just told you. It was God who did this. So the king gave credit to the one who deserved it, God.
Wow, that's awesome. And just one more question before I let you go. I have heard some people talking out there in the palace hallway. Is it true that you and your friends, your 3 friends, have been given greater jobs in the kingdom?
Yes, it is true. Rhoda, the credit goes all to God.
Well, thank you for your time. Ned? Ned, some wild things have happened here since our last communication. For whatever reason, King Nebuchadnezzar has made an idol for the people. It is an image of gold, and it's 90 feet high. The king hasn't recognized that there is only one God yet. He demanded that when the music played, everyone has to bow down and worship the statue. Anyone who did not bow down would be killed in a burning fiery furnace. However, that didn't matter to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Because of their devotion to God, they refused to bow down and worship anything or anyone but God. Well, he tried. He was so mad that he had the burning fiery furnace made 7 times hotter than it usually is. And he had the 3 thrown into the furnace. It was incredible. We were watching along with the king, and all of a sudden he jumped to his feet. It kind of scared me. We all looked in with him into the furnace, and we saw 4 people instead of 3. No, Daniel's not here, Ned. It was God. King Nebuchadnezzar called the men out and said that they were servants. They said they were servants of the Most High God. It was a miracle. They weren't burned, their clothes weren't burnt, and they didn't even smell like smoke. No, not only that, but the king worshipped God and made a rule that if anyone speaks against the Most High God, they will be killed. He also promoted Daniel's 3 friends to higher positions in his kingdom. Well, back to you, Ned. I'm going to see if I can find Daniel. What's up? We've never said that before. Interesting. Well, it's been many years, but I have finally caught up with Daniel. Daniel has shared with me that over the past several years, God has helped him explain another one of King Nebuchadnezzar's dreams. He told me that God humbled the king for 7 years, and the king finally accepted the one and true God. There have also been many other changes around here. Well, King Nebuchadnezzar has been killed, and there have been several kings since him. As a matter of fact, one king only lasted 2 months before he was killed. The last king of Babylon was Belshazzar. Daniel warned him to be devoted to God, but he wouldn't listen. Darius the Mede came in with his army and took over the kingdom. Oh, he's okay, Ned. God has protected him. As a matter of fact, he has been promoted in the Mede and the Persian empires. Ned, it sounds great, but I think Daniel's in trouble. You see, Ned, Daniel is still extremely devoted to God. You know how I told you about all of the new kings? Well, Daniel is more than 80 years old now, and he's been serving under King Darius. The king's counselors tricked the king into making a law that said no one was allowed to pray to anyone but King Darius. They had looked for mistakes that Daniel had made, but they could not find anything. So they tried to separate Daniel from his God by making a new law that no one could ask anything except from the king for 30 days. No, Daniel knew about the law, but just like every day before, he got down on his knees and he prayed 3 different times during the day. He never stopped praying every day, even though he knew about the lion's den. Just like you would expect, the king's counselors went to the king and told on Daniel. King Darius was very sad that he had been tricked into making that law. Also, he was sad that he had to throw Daniel in with the lions. Ned, God did another miracle. While Daniel was in with the lions, God kept the lions' mouths shut. They didn't do anything to Daniel. Early the next morning, King Darius ran to the lion's den and called for Daniel. Daniel shared with the king how God had protected him. King Darius praised God and told everyone else in his kingdom to do so as well. You're welcome, Ned. I think I'm going to take a vacation now. This has been quite